What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a little bit of a catch up, what's been going on, what my plans are type video. Probably just gonna ramble for a little bit and try to get back into the channel here. It's been a while since we've done one of these where I sort of kind of give you guys a look into what my life's been like, what I've been up to on the other side of the games, and just what goes on in real life and things like that. And I do want to kind of apologize. I have not been very good this year with keeping up a consistent stream of content on the channel. It's been really difficult with work, my job in real life. I am a commercial title examiner, and I'm sure you guys probably have no clue what that is. But essentially what I do is I work in the commercial real estate field. And anytime anyone wants to buy a big piece of property to build like a shopping mall or a big skyscraper or a golf course or pretty much anything that would be used for a business in the commercial industry, a solar farm, anything like that, we have to go in and run what's called a title search on the property, which basically is going back and checking the ownership, going back usually about 50 or 60 years or even further depending on the client and what their needs are. So that's my job, and I actually am the person who reviews all the work that the other people do, and I have to make sure that it's pretty much perfect before it goes to our attorney to sign off on to issue an insurance policy. And considering we insure some of these buildings for several million, up to $30 or $40 million, we've had a couple $100 million deals. We've even done some work for a Major League Baseball team. My job gets kind of stressful, especially toward the end of the year and fourth quarter when companies are trying to close their deals quickly, and we have a lot of clients we work for. We're kind of a small mom and pop firm, but we're one of the best in the city, so we get a lot of the work out there. So I have just been extremely busy this year. We did not slow down at all from the fourth quarter last year, which is usually our busiest time of year. And I live in Atlanta, Georgia, which right now is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. It was already a big city with tons of people and lots of traffic problems, but now it's just getting even worse because we have a ton of people moving here. Our economy is really, really good. It's very diverse. We have a lot of different fields you can get into down here. Lots of people hiring. Our unemployment rate is like 3.5%. It's one of the lowest in the country. And it's just a busy, busy time. Lots of people moving here. We have a housing shortage right now, a rental shortage, so rental rates and houses are just skyrocketing. My mom, it's funny, she actually just sold her house, which she was thinking about putting on the market about 6 months ago, and at the time it was worth a certain amount, and just by waiting 6 months, her house value, just from the demand, has already appreciated about another $60,000. So it's just crazy down here right now. So we're busy at work, which is a good thing, but it's also been very, very stressful. My job is not your typical 9-to-5 job. I usually work almost 11 hours a day. I don't really get a lunch hour or breaks, but there's lots of perks that go along with my job. But it's kind of funny because I was going to make one of these videos last month, and I was really getting burned out at work, and I made the video actually, but then I listened to it, I sounded really depressed, and I was complaining about a lot of stuff. And I was like, I don't really feel like uploading this because I don't want to put depressing content up on the channel. But back then, things were kind of rough at my job. Some of my coworkers have been slacking off, and I was pulling a lot of weight that I didn't have to. I've been basically working at 150% of my own capacity most of this year, and I just went through a little time period where I was burned out and just didn't even have time when I got home to play games or do anything that I really enjoyed. So it was just a really tough time for me, and I've kind of fallen off my gym schedule too, which usually is how I cope with stress, is I go to the gym and work out and burn it off. So a lot of things were adding up. I was getting really frustrated, and a lot of stuff was going on that my kind of superiors were just letting slide because we were still getting work done despite some of the people in the office slacking off. So finally one night after work, I got frustrated on a Friday because a bunch of people left early when we had a crap load of work to do, and I kind of got stuck with the ball. So that was really annoying, and I kind of talked to my boss, and I've been at my company almost 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in November. And my boss actually, we had a pretty good chat. We sat there for about half an hour and just talked about everything that was going on. And, you know, he is on his way to retiring probably in a year or so, and then he's going to let the two partner attorneys that are there take over, who've been there for a while. But he really sat down with me and kind of, you know, expressed to me that he feels that I'm a very valuable employee at the company, and he wants to make sure that I stick around and, you know, that I'm happy. So I actually did get a raise at work, which was pretty cool, and that's going to take effect at the start of next year. I also got a third quarter financial bonus, which was pretty cool, and I think I'm maybe on the company's bonus program now, which will be kind of fun. And he said I'm also going to get a pretty nice bonus at Christmas this year, so that kind of made everything worth it, and just hearing him tell me how much he appreciated my work was really cool and kind of lifted my spirits a bit. So the last couple of weeks I've been in a really good mood, even though we're still busy at work. I've just been kind of putting on a good face and dealing with it, and trying to get back in the gym a little bit and getting on the bike and riding so that I'm working off some of the stress. But just a lot of work lately, and haven't really had any time to make videos. I'm really not even playing games that much anymore. I'm still playing a little bit of Overwatch here and there, and some Warframe. And actually I started playing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer a little bit, but just have not had a lot of time to make any content. Now the cool thing is I did get that the bonus for the third quarter, so I was able to pay off actually a lot of my debt. A lot of you guys might not know this. I think I mentioned it in a couple of videos, like the one I did about my student loan when I paid it off, but I am currently in a very aggressive plan to pay off all of my consumer debt, whether it be my credit cards or my car loan, things like that. I actually sort of subscribe to a guy named Dave Ramsey, who's a financial, I guess I could call him a guru, but he's a guy that helps people that get really far deep in debt. And he's got a channel on YouTube, and he's pretty popular throughout the country. But I mean, he helps people that have, you listen to his call-in show on the radio, and there's people that call in. You know, I thought I was in deep trouble with how much debt I have, but then I was listening to some of the calls on his show, and there's people that call in with like $600,000 in student loan debt and $1 million in student loan debt or back taxes or all kinds of crazy stuff. So I didn't feel so bad when I started listening to all that, and through some of his watching his videos and getting his advice, I've gone into a very strict budget and gotten onto a pretty aggressive plan to pay off all of my debt by the end of next year. So the cool thing was getting this bonus and then getting a bonus at Christmas time. I'm going to be able to accelerate that quite a bit to the point where I may have my car paid off early next year a lot sooner than I thought I would. So that's really cool. So I spent most of my bonus on my bills, paying some of the bills current, and then also paying off some of my loan balances. So that felt pretty good. But I did keep a little bit for myself to get myself some cool things, because like I said, it's been kind of a depressing couple of months. So I had to get some retail therapy, and of course that came in the form of technology and gaming stuff. So the first thing I bought was something I had my eye on for quite some time, which is a Nikon D3400 DSLR camera. Now this is an entry-level DSLR camera, but it was still pretty expensive. And I am sort of an amateur photographer on the side. I've been using digital cameras for a while, and I kind of wanted to upgrade to something that's going to allow me to take some astronomy photos and just some better overall pictures. Maybe even a little video here and there. So once I started getting the hang of that, I took it out last night and actually was practicing a little bit, taking some night shots, and I might start sharing some of that on the channel, maybe some time lapses. I'm going to try my hand at some Milky Way photos as well. So these are just something I really wanted to pick up as a hobby. So that was the first purchase that I made. And then I also got a new gaming keyboard and mouse for my gaming PC, because the ones I have are kind of crappy. I actually did get a Logitech mechanical and a Logitech mouse. I think it's the G403. I think it's the one. But I had been using an older Razer keyboard, and I don't know, I just wasn't happy with it. Now, I know a lot of people swear by Razer, but I'm more of a Corsair Logitech fan. I think the Razer stuff, for the price you pay, isn't as durable or as good as it should be. I think there's a lot. It's almost like the Alienware thing with gaming PCs. It's like you're just paying for a name sometimes. And I've had good luck with some of the Razer products. Like I use, I've got a Razer mechanical keyboard I use on my regular PC that's pretty nice. But just for the gaming stuff, I have never really felt like their products were worth the money. So there was that. So I got a new gaming keyboard and a mouse. But the other cool thing I got besides the camera was I did finally upgrade my chair that I use with my gaming setup. Now, I had bought like kind of a cheap gaming chair on Amazon. It was like $120, and of course it wasn't very good. It wore out pretty quick, but I'm kind of a big dude. I'm like 6'5", 250 pounds, and I go through chairs, office chairs, gaming chairs, whatever, pretty quickly. So what I should have done in the first place, instead of spending that $120, was just save up some money. And I had been putting money aside every month, 10, 20 bucks here or there, over the last year or so, trying to save up for a new chair. And so Secret Labs had a Labor Day sale that went on for a little while, and I actually wound up buying their Titan chair, which is a special version of their chair which they make for people that are 6'5", 300 pounds. So it's a very sturdy gaming chair. It's very comfortable. It's just absolutely amazing to sit in compared to what I had before. And I thought maybe it might be a little overhyped watching all the reviews on YouTube and the testimonials they had, but after I put it together and just felt how strong and sturdy it was, it's a very heavy chair. It weighs almost 80 pounds, and it just feels awesome. I could sit in this chair all day long, I think, and it just feels really good. I wish I could get one for work now, because my work chair is really, really bad. But what I'm going to wind up doing is I have an extra chair here at the house that I was using for my other PC. I'm going to take that probably to work and use that. But so picked up a couple of goodies. It was pretty fun, pretty cool. And looking forward to Christmas time, hopefully getting another bonus then so that I can almost pay off my car and get a couple cool things too for Christmas. So a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. That was pretty neat. But so that kind of helped me get into a better mood. And I don't talk about real life stuff that much, but I know I have some younger viewers and people that listen to me, so if you are young, if you're getting ready to go to college, if you're still in high school, do your best to not get in debt early in your life. If you can go to a community college that's local instead of taking out massive student loans to go somewhere. In this day and age with such a saturated job market in certain fields, college degrees really aren't as important as they used to be when it comes to like the name of where you went to school. You know, I didn't go to a great college. Like if I said, you know, I went to the West Virginia University, which is a known college throughout the country, but it's not like a Harvard or Yale. But I still make a pretty good living, despite not having gone to like an Ivy League school. And it's, you know, depending on what field you want to go into, you're able to make a pretty good paycheck, even not having a flashy college on your diploma. So do your best if you're young to stay out of debt. Trust me, because I have screwed up my life enough financially over the last 10 years or so, and had a really good situation where I didn't even see the writing on the wall and kind of screwed things up. I'll tell that story sometimes or sometime. But yeah, do your best to stay out of debt and enjoy your 20s and 30s and put some good money away so that you can enjoy the rest of your life and just be financially sound, instead of having to dig your way out of a hole like I'm doing, where I'm really not going to be able to start enjoying any of the hard work I've done until I'm about 40 years old. And that's kind of crappy, but you know, I've made a bunch of mistakes financially in life, and it's just the price I have to pay. But I've, you know, gotten onto a strict budget. I'm digging my way out, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you just have to fix your own problems, and that's what I've been up to the last couple of years with that. So that's one word of advice for today is just, you know, try to stay out of debt if you are younger and you're coming up now. Just always find a little bit of money to put in the bank. Don't take out credit cards and max them out. You know, just don't be stupid with money, kind of like I have been in the past. So again, that's just my word of advice for the day. So anyways, let's get on to what I've got coming up here. I actually am going to have some time this weekend in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully it's not super busy at work. I can get some videos made. There is some other drama going on in my life that I'm going to talk about toward the end of the video that I'm probably going to have to move out of my apartment pretty soon, but I'll get to that here in a second. But I've been kind of fortunate the last week or so. I had a friend of mine who sold his house and bought another house, and he's been in between houses because of his closing date. So I've been letting him crash on my couch, and he did let me play a bit of Destiny 2 Forsaken, which I have not bought myself. I made a video a couple weeks ago about how, you know, I still couldn't bring myself to buy into the hype despite all the good reviews and the things that were going on, because I really just didn't want to pay $70 to get in on it. But I have actually been able to spend quite a bit of time playing the game over the last 2 weeks, and I have some thoughts on it. So I'm actually going to do a kind of a review video and give my thoughts here probably in the next couple of days. And it's interesting. I think they did a really decent job with it overall. It's kind of like the Taken King was for Destiny, but there's still that little voice in the back of my head that's just telling me, hey, we've seen this before. Bungie went through this exact same cycle with the first Destiny, and, you know, can we trust them again to not screw this up the third time around? So we'll see. But I'm definitely going to be working on that video, and that's probably going to be a 20 to 30 minute video. It's going to be pretty long, so I have some pretty extensive thoughts on the state of Destiny 2 that I want to kind of get out there, and if people want to, you know, use that to help them buy the game, I'm going to try to be unbiased. I know I'm super critical of Bungie sometimes, but it just seems like everyone is always so positive for them. All the Destiny YouTubers always give them a pass. So someone has to kind of be the voice of reason. And I definitely want to weigh in on Forsaken and Destiny 2 and kind of tell you guys how that's been going. So there's going to be that. I definitely want to get back into my Warframe series. I've been playing Warframe here and there on the side. I had a whole big video drawn up, that I wanted to do on farming for prime parts in Warframe, and I'm definitely going to get to that at some point. It's just finding the time to sit down and get some footage for it. And I've actually been streaming a little bit too, here and there, on Twitch, which I don't normally do. I'll put my Twitch channel in the description, but I'm hardly ever on there. I just, I guess I kind of went through a little phase where I was jumping on there every night, streaming for a couple hours, just trying to test my hardware and see if it would work. But I have a problem with my sound. With the monitor I use in my gaming PC and my Elgato capture card, it just doesn't want to match up, and it's on display port, so it's really difficult to get the sound from the game onto my stream, and with me still being able to hear it. That's part of the problem, especially since I use a USB headset. It's pretty much impossible for me to get game sound if I want to have the sound coming out on the Twitch stream. So that's been a bit of a problem. I thought I had a workaround here, but it didn't work, and I've been trying to find stuff on YouTube and Reddit, and just nothing seems to work. So maybe around Christmas time I might pick up a different 144 hertz monitor that actually takes HDMI 2, because I think if I had an HDMI 2 I'd be able to do it no problem. But just since my 144 hertz monitor is DisplayPort, it's just simply not working out for me right now. I could go down to HDMI, but then I would have to drop down to 60 frames, which for me personally is just not an option, because it's just, I'm so used to playing on my 144 hertz monitor now in Overwatch, getting 250, 300 frames per second. It's just, I'm just used to it, and I can't, when I play 30 or 60 frames, it's like, God, it just seems so awful. It seems so slow and sluggish on the game. So yeah, first world problems, you know how it is. But so that's what's pretty much been going on with the games. And I've been thinking about getting an Xbox One X. I have an Xbox One regular and a PlayStation 4, which I haven't touched in, like, God, over a year. And I was thinking about trading them both in and maybe buying an Xbox One X, just to kind of have as a media center, and because I'm still playing the Halo games and some other things. I still have some friends who are on Xbox. And even though I game mostly on PC now, I'm not one of those like elitists who's like, oh, you have to game on PC or you're a scrub. I think it's cool, whatever you play on. If you're a console player, if you're a PC player, good for you. It's just, gaming is fun. It's supposed to be a fun thing for all of us. There's no point in getting into like, oh, you play Xbox, you're not a PlayStation fanboy, you're a scrub. There's no point in getting to that whole big spiel about things. So may pick up an Xbox One X. I've been looking at it. It seems to be a pretty powerful setup, and no more power brick, which is pretty cool. But just overall, if I do get another console, that's probably going to be it. And really, that's about it with the gaming. Just trying to find some newer games to play. I have a whole bunch of games on my gaming PC I haven't even touched yet that I need to get in. I actually had a friend of mine who got me The Witcher 3, and I haven't even started playing that yet because I just don't think I have the time necessary to get into it. In terms of games that are coming up, there's really not that many I'm excited for, except for Cyberpunk 2077. Obviously, the stuff they showed off at E3 looked really, really good, and some of the gameplay that's come out since looks really, really good. After seeing what Anthem looked like, I really wasn't too excited for that. I was a little bit more interested in the fact that BioWare actually made mention that they were working on something that would make Mass Effect fans happy. So I'm not sure what that's going to be, but it sounds intriguing. And then I think the only other game I was looking at that looked pretty cool was Ace Combat 7. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Combat series, and they're making a 7th game for it, which they showed at E3, and it looks pretty spectacular. So I may have to jump in the ring and pick up Ace Combat 7. Although I might get that for console just because it's easier to play with a controller rather than having to buy all the stuff for PC. If I got the game on PC, I'm one of those people where I'd have to buy like the joystick and the thruster sticks and the rudder pedals and all that nonsense that people have for flight simulator games, because I actually used to play the old Janes, like US Navy fighters and fighter jet games back on the old days when like Gateway 2000 was a big PC. Dating myself a little bit there, but I had the whole setup with the fancy F-16 joystick and everything, so I'd probably wind up doing the same thing if I bought Ace Combat for PC. So but like I said, really that's about it. So I did mention a little bit of extra drama that's going on right now, and that has to do with my apartment complex, where I moved here about a year ago, year and a month maybe. I think I've been here, and it was great. You know, they were in the middle of doing renovations. The interiors are all renovated. They've got fancy countertops and stainless steel appliances, and my rent rate was pretty reasonable. But of course, with the demand they're having now, when it came time to renew my lease, they actually jacked my rent up about $150 a month, which is a little bit higher than they normally do. I used to work in the industry, so I kind of know what's going on with that. But that was not cool. I mean, I can afford it, but I don't want to afford it. It's kind of one of those situations. But I didn't really get too much time to look around and find another place to move, so unfortunately I had to sign a renewal lease. And in the last couple of weeks, I had a family member of mine who bought a new house a little bit further north than where I live now, and it has an upper level, like, full in-law suite, you know, bathroom, game room, massive bedroom, and they actually wanted to rent it out to me. And they want to, it's an older family friend, or family member, and they want to actually let me help them with their mortgage, and we're going to sign like an equity agreement so that any of the rent payments I make are essentially going to help them pay down the balance of their mortgage, and I'm going to get equity in the house. So eventually in a year or two, when they decide to retire or move away, I might be able to take over the mortgage, or we would sell the house and I would take out whatever portion of the profit was mine. I would get that. So it's kind of a cool deal. We've already been working up the paperwork, but my big problem is now I'm stuck in this lease in my other apartment, and the lease termination fees are pretty extensive. It's like you have to give a 60-day notice and then pay $1,000 or $2,000 to break the lease, basically. So I was thinking of how I could save up the money and do that. And then last month, I noticed there was some mold growing on the ceiling in my bathroom, which mold in an apartment is a big bad news, especially if you're the apartment management company. And it also looked like there was like a brown spot on the ceiling, like you could tell almost like there was a water leak upstairs coming from the bathroom above me. And so I put in a call to the maintenance guys and said, hey, you guys need to come out here because there's mold on my ceiling and there's a water leak upstairs. And they came out and looked at it, and I wasn't here, I was at work while they were fixing it up, but they don't know obviously that I used to work in the apartment industry and that I'm also pretty handy when it comes to repairs and fixing things. I've worked a lot of odd jobs in my life, and I know quite a bit about maintenance and plumbing and things like that. And so the guy had left me a copy of the work order, and he signed off on it, and I went in the bathroom, and basically what they had done was just they had painted over it with this like white kind of like mold-proof spray paint. It's called Kills. It's something a lot of maintenance guys use, especially in plumbing and in apartment maintenance. And they just painted over it. And he left me a note on there saying, oh, it was just a spot that we forgot to paint before you moved in. There was no mold. There was no water leak. And I'm like, these guys must think I'm stupid, because I know what mold looks like. I know what a water leak looks like coming through the ceiling. So we went roundabout with it. Eventually, I saved all the paperwork, and I had taken pictures of everything, which is a good thing, because about a week ago, the mold spot came back on the ceiling, and this time it came back with a vengeance, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew, and I basically had a mold outbreak across the ceiling in my bathroom. It was disgusting. And I had to go stay with a family member for a couple nights because I've been sleeping in my apartment with that, and I've been waking up in the morning all congested. It's just been awful. So I took a bunch of pictures, and fortunately I had the regional manager's email address, and I sent all the pictures and the copy of the work order over to her, and I said, this was basically what I reported a month ago, that you guys told me was just a spot you forgot to paint. And turns out that it wasn't just that, because here's this massive mold outbreak on my ceiling. Now what are you going to do about it? Pretty much. But the timing was actually good, because I have a meeting this weekend with the actual property manager to talk about it. Because, as I said before, mold is a big problem for apartments, and if word gets out that they have mold in their building or something like that, they can be in a lot of financial trouble. People have been sued before for having mold as a landlord in their apartment and the residents getting sick. I'm not really wanting to go that route. I just thought that since the timing was so perfect, that I'm going to talk to them and basically say, well, you guys can probably just let me out of my lease without letting me pay any termination fees, because I'm not going to live here, obviously, if there's mold growing in the building and in the bathroom. I'm just simply not going to put up with that. So they came in, and it took them 2 days to fix it. They basically cut out a big hole in the ceiling and went in and, I guess, cleaned it out. And lo and behold, there's a water leak. The ladies' bathroom upstairs was leaking down into my ceiling, and I was like, yeah, I told you guys that a month ago, but nobody wanted to listen to me, so we wouldn't be doing this if you had just listened to me in the first place instead of being lazy. And I was talking to the guy on the phone yesterday, and we set up a meeting for Saturday, which is tomorrow, so I'm going to go talk to him. But you know, I was just telling him, I said, well, how would you feel, you know, if you reported this problem and then you were just blown off? I said, that's really because he was trying to talk me into staying. He doesn't want me to terminate my lease, and he's like, we need to talk about it. And I was like, no, not really. I mean, I just, you know, I like living here, and everything's been great. The staff, for the most part, has been good, but you know, just now I have to question the integrity because I, you know, came forward with an obvious issue and was treated like I was just some idiot, you know, that I didn't know anything. So, you know, unfortunately, that's just the way I feel about it. So, I'm not going to stay somewhere where that's the way the staff looks at it. So that's that, and I'm going to go in tomorrow and talk to him, and we'll see if anything comes out of that. But either way, I'm most likely going to wind up terminating the lease here and trying to get out of it. And then that would allow me to move into the other place probably late November, early December, which is pretty cool. It's going to give me a little bit of extra space versus what I have now. I'd actually have my own dedicated gaming space, little game layer there, but whereas with my apartment right now, all my gaming stuff is kind of crammed into the corner of my living room. I have kind of like the gaming area like cordoned off from the TV and the couch and everything. So when people come to visit, it gets kind of cramped, and they all look at my stuff like, why do you have all these computers and what's all this stuff in here? And you know, so it'd be nice to have my own little dedicated spot for all this stuff, which will happen. The only drawback to moving to this new place is that the traffic going to work is going to become a huge issue because it's quite a bit further north than where I am now. I'm about 11 miles from my office, and on average each day I spend about an hour to an hour and a half in traffic round trip. Where I'm moving is probably going to move up to about 2 hours round trip, which sucks, but that's Atlanta right now. The traffic here is horrendous, and with more and more people moving here, all the roads are under construction. They're trying to widen the lanes. They're trying to fix everything, but they're too late. They waited way too long to do it, and now the road construction projects they have going on, which are going to be done in a year or two, are basically just going to catch up to where they're at right now. So by the time they get it finished, there's already going to be that many more people here, and it's going to be really hard for them to accommodate everybody. So lots of stuff going on, guys. I apologize for such a long video. I just wanted to get a lot of stuff off my chest, kind of give you guys a heads up on what's been going on, tell you what's up. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to jump off here now. I got a couple other videos I want to try to work on and get out this weekend. As I said, look for that Destiny 2 Forsaken review / thoughts video here in the next couple of days. That's definitely something I want to work on. So that'll be coming up pretty soon. And then I'm going to try to get on a more consistent schedule here toward the end of the year, and hopefully finish the year out strong. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you for everybody who stuck around. I noticed my sub count is going up even though I haven't been that busy this year with videos. Appreciate all you new subscribers, anybody that's new to the channel, all the comments, everything on all the videos I have been managing to put out, even kind of the lazy Overwatch highlight videos from each competitive season. But hopefully we'll get some more meaningful content posted here pretty soon. In the meantime, as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you again next time.